Hi there, hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to another video. We got a great one today. There might be some concerns associated with it, but I'm loving every part of it so far. This is the Jordan Tatum 1. So no further introduction needed. This is Jayson Tatum's very first signature shoe with Jordan brand. They have a retail price of 120 US dollars. Not too bad, right around mid-tier pricing from Nike. Very personal opinion, I think this is the best looking shoe so far this year. This white colorway is just so clean. So good that I even doubled up, which I almost never did for the same colorway, you know. Should be plenty of nice ones coming up too. Anyways, the most important thing is how they perform. And I think it's safe to say that a lot of us are a little bit concerned about the traction performance and also durability, given that most of the bottom is just the foam itself. I also heard that they're a lightweight shoe before I got them. But now that I've been playing in them, this is just extremely light. Even more minimal on feet than I expected. So lots to talk about, let's get right into some details. They come in a black and white shoebox with, I believe it's a big JT logo laid out horizontally on top. There's a signature at the front, a small Jumpman logo, and that's about it. Pretty simple, just like the Why Not and Zion packaging. On a first look, pretty much all the interesting stuff are going on at the bottom of the shoe. The upper materials are a standard textile mesh, and there's that emptied out midsole with a small JT logo, which is probably the most notable feature from the side. It feels sturdy enough so your feet don't just drop down or stake out a lot, which we'll get into in just a bit. On the heel tab is his signature and jersey number 0, logo on the tongue as well, and of course a Jumpman logo on the lateral side. The colorway pays tribute to Tatum's hometown, St. Louis. On the inside of the tongue, it has a tag that says Archer Avenue, and this is what the insole looks like. The outsole is one of the most unique parts about the Tatum 1. Other than the translucent rubber part up front, it's just the foam. And the pattern at the bottom kind of reminds me of hand-pulled noodles. Over time, the foam can definitely start to wear down, so I would not recommend using these outdoors. Otherwise, the upper is very flexible in the way it bends, and this is a super lightweight shoe at only 352 grams for my size 10.5 pair. That makes them not only the lightest Jordan brand shoe, but also one of the lightest hoop shoes out there. By weight, it's lighter than the Curry 10, the Curry Floatrolls, around the same or even a little bit lighter than the One Take 3 and 4. And those are already some of the lightest hoop shoes on the market. So once you get them in hand, you can immediately feel how light they are. As Nike says in the product description, rubber only where it counts. As to how the Tatum 1 performs on the court, the cushioning and comfort level really went beyond my expectations. First of all, this shoe really didn't take much of a break-in time for me. Step-in comfort is great. The materials aren't pinching against my feet anywhere on the upper, so everything was good to go right from the start. For those of you who had that pinky toe problem with the Jordan 36, or those who also hated the Jordan 37 upper, like myself, these don't have that type of an issue. Just a subtle amount of heel compression, not too soft. The midsole in general isn't a crazy bouncy setup, but it's responsive enough for most people, I feel like. The Forefoot Zoom is efficient, very smooth transition as well. Alright, now the traction performance, it was actually fine based on my experience on both clean and dusty settings. It's not a crazy grip like the Luka 1, for example, but again, I've said this a few times before, I still think right in the middle of the forefoot is where it's most important to give you a good stop. And for that reason, these will at least get a pass. The bottom part really doesn't grip as well as the translucent part, but landing and pivoting on the forefoot have no problems. On a dusty court, it's a little bit inconsistent. But I only had stomps in my movements when I was purposely doing hard turns and stops to test them. Playing in them, everything went well. I do have to say that the bottom is kind of a dust magnet. It picked up so much dust, and it's not necessarily easy to wipe off. So keep that in mind if you only play on dusty courts. Like, you could notice that the squeak is gone after a while as dust accumulates. So wiping is needed very frequently. With the fit, these are true to size, and it's a very standard fit and average width. They're not as narrow as I thought. Yeah, I was worried about this being a narrow shoe, but it's actually not. Breathability is good, and once again, super light on feet. For quicker and faster playing styles, these are a yes. Stability is decent too, and one more thing that surprised me was the comfort over extended runs. You have a tiny bit of elevation from the poke through down there, but for people with flat feet like myself, it's really not too much. It's got a good core feel, and my feet weren't protruding out to the side. just a nice wrap around it with enough support, but also no major soreness. So flat footers, you'll be fine in these. That's about it for this video on the Jordan Tatum 1. I was definitely not disappointed by its performance. Again, durability isn't going to be great. This is not an outdoor shoe, but otherwise, I think it's a solid indoor performer with good comfort and minimal weight. Regarding how the outsole lasts over time, I will definitely provide updates later on, especially if I do see some major damage. But so far it's alright. Some wear and tear is normal, right? I mean, these are meant to be worn on the court, not a shoe for someone to just hold and stare at it. So to me, this shoe is a cop. But let me know how you feel about them down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.